Okay, today we have with us Smita Prakash of INI, and we're going to talk about Bali and what happened in Bali with respect to the East Asia Summit, where Manmohan Singh was there and Smita Prakash was also there as part of this huge contingent of Indian reporters who had followed the Prime Minister. So, Smita, just tell me first, what was Manmohan Singh doing there?
Manmohan Singh was certainly not at the beach, which you'd expect being a beach resort and all that. He was working from morning to evening. The first day was a whole lot of bilaterals, including with President Obama, with Wen Jiabao. And then it was, of course, the ASEAN Summit and the East Asia Summit. The Prime Minister is really given into all these multilateral summits. He comes into his element of sorts.
His element, yeah. As I was joking the other time, his element, Manmohan Singh in his element.
Well, yeah, because at these multilateral meets, he gets to meet many more heads of state as compared to a bilateral meet. And ASEAN is, it's all about economics, and he's an economist. So if this setting is perfect for him. ASEAN is something that he really enjoys.
But one of the things was which we've spoken about, and it's interesting to talk about, is does his personal relationship, his personal skill, his personal knowledge of the subject, does it matter in these contexts, right? Does it matter in terms of promoting India's interest in these places?
Yes, I think to a great extent it does. When you see him at the ASEAN, when you see him at the G20 meets and things like that, he really comes to his element. UNGA is not really his scene, UNGA was something that Mr. Vajpayee was, that was his sign, his kind of a playground. But for Manmohan Singh, it's really these summits, ASEAN and all. He has a one-to-one relationship, very good relationship with many heads of state, whether it's Obama, whether it's Wen Jiabao, whether it's the German Chancellor, all of them he gets along very well on a one-to-one basis. And they discuss their economic crisis as far as the Eurozone is concerned. They've been discussing with him a whole lot of things. So he has a one-to-one relationship, and I think it matters a lot when it comes to negotiations. If you've seen him with Gilani, when he meets with Gilani, there is a rapport going there, and that's why India.
And they talk about accidents.
Okay, let's not talk about India.
Let's not talk about accidents. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, in this case, in the Bali case, we have established that he didn't go to the beach, and we've established that he's got, he had these good relationships with people like Obama and China. But okay, what's the story between India and the United States? What was the outcome? Did you get a sense that there was something interesting happening there?
Everybody knew that this meeting was scheduled. We requested for a meeting. India put in a request for the bilateral meeting. It wasn't an aside. Now, the aside business is where there's no scheduled meeting, and when these summits are going on, they meet in the corridor or something like that. It's kind of an accidental meeting or informal meeting. But this was a delegation level meeting. We asked for it. There was talk that in the earlier interaction, or when they both saw each other, there wasn't really kind of a warmth. It said that the Prime Minister extended his hand, whereas Obama probably didn't see it and walked past. This was at the G20 meet last month. But here, you saw the two speeches. They were pretty warm. They talked about taking the relationship forward. But you also see that, America is going to go into an election mode in a couple of months' time. So, and there has been a dip, when it came to the fighter aircraft deal, when it came to the nuclear liability bill. India's made its position clear that here, okay, this is what we have in place. We can't make any more compromises on this.
Right.
So,
I think the nuclear deal was nuclear liability thing was quite fine. This is the market. These are the rules which we want to play by. Like it or lump it, right? So
yeah. Now the vendors can decide which way they want to go.
Exactly. You can't expect to to have a blank check, you can't expect to treat people differently in India just because India and US have a strategic relationship, right? That's fine.
Other countries have been doing business with India without this nuclear liability bill. In spite of that, they've been doing business with India. So here is this bill. We've got it in place. It should be passed. It's up to now the vendors in America to decide which way they want to go.
Okay. Now let's talk about this China thing, right? uh, during the summit and even afterwards, I think there was an attempt made to project the Chinese Prime Minister as being isolated and cornered by the rest. Even the message put out by the White House after the summit suggests that this guy was cornered. Singapore spoke first, India spoke later, Vietnam spoke and others. But what is the sense which you got there on the ground?
Well, it was all to do with the South China Sea. So even before the summit started, before East Asia Summit started, there was already talk about Chinese isolation. Look, Chinese isolation cannot happen at the ASEAN level. This is all talk. I mean, ASEAN is all about money, and China is all about trade. And all these smaller countries, they're all trading with China. They don't want a big brother attitude, but tough luck. China is in your neighborhood, the US is not. All they can do is send their warships. And they've done that. As far as the East Asia Summit is concerned, yes, America is in there. It suits many countries fine to have America in there. When the East Asia Summit was set up, the sense I got was that these smaller countries, whether it was the smaller countries, Cambodia and the others, they wanted India to play a leadership role. They saw the superpower emerging and India playing a leadership role. India did not live up to that and left a vacuum out there, which was, America just walked into that vacuum.
Yeah, and I do sense that, the smaller and the medium powers of East Asia are much more comfortable with India being a balancer than the United States. Unfortunately, if India was not willing to play, then they had no choice but to actually seek a relationship with the United States yet again.
Absolutely. So, which country would want America in its neighborhood?
Yeah, and they've been kicked around by China in the last 2 years, so it's quite fair. But the ganging up against China is a little worrisome because it makes those conflicts or those contests much more full of tension, much more aggressive than purely diplomatic cut and thrust.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is a little disturbing, but at the same time, it keeps a superpower, if you want to call China, that it keeps it in check, and they will learn to be more sensitive and realize that it's not as if the smaller countries have no say. They will be allowed, and here is another superpower which will make them talk at these kind of summits. And if you're going to see the way the media reports. American media talked about this Chinese isolation, and that was picked up by all the other sides and all the other Southeast Asian media which was there. So it really seemed as if China was edged into a corner. That is not the case. It was not edged into a corner.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's quickly end this by how was it like flying on the Prime Minister's plane?
When the Prime Minister flies by Air India One, it's not a commercial flight. It's a special flight, which means that you are invited. As media, you're invited. So media houses, turn by turn, get invited to be part of the Prime Minister's media delegation. Of course, you are treated as VIPs. You're taken everywhere. But also remember, it's not a junket. We pay for our hotels. We don't pay for the aircraft for the Air India flight because it's a special flight. But it's a lot of hard work. We board 2 hours in advance. We are taken everywhere 2 hours in advance. We go through SPG security, which is quite nightmarish in itself. And besides that, you have Secret Service security, which is when the Prime Minister meets with the US President or when he's meeting with the Chinese counterpart. So there is a huge element of, getting in time, covering it quickly. It's a hard work.
But does the Prime Minister also provide in-flight entertainment?
Absolutely not. None whatsoever. No entertainment. There's nothing. I mean, it's a normal Air India aircraft. No luxuries, luxurious fittings or anything like that. We don't even have individual TV screens in that aircraft, mind you.
Okay, that's to keep people sane. Anyway, thanks, Smita, for this wonderful episode of INI9. We'll do a lot more of this.
Nice talking to you, Nitin. Thank you.